When most people think of monotheistic gods, they think of bearded and potentially hostile men on high, the mainstay of Abrahamic religions like Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. The God of Abraham is often simplistically compared with the dualism of the traditional Iranian faiths, the polytheism of the Dharmic faiths, and the pantheism and vagueness of the Far Eastern traditions. Yet the concept of one supreme God has popped up in different parts of the world in unusual manifestations. 10 Hayu Rabbi the Mandeans, Akasavians, are practitioners of an Abrahamic religion who believe their religion to be older than Judaism, Christianity, or Islam but who have not actively proselytized since the 1st century AD. Their God is known as to whom all absolute properties belong. Hayu Rabbi created all the worlds of the universe as well as souls, which were placed into human bodies by angels. While the soul is in the material world, it must suffer. But as part of the divine creation, a soul should also do good deeds and confront evil. Upon death, the soul is purified and returns to its place of origin. The Sabian creation story is intriguing and poorly understood, but it describes the divine creation of the universe and the genesis of evil, in the name of life, and in the name of knowledge of life, Mandaditya, and in the name of that primal being who was eldest and preceded water, radiance, light, and glory, the being who cried with his voice and uttered words. And he spoke and said, the first life is anterior to the second life by 6,000 myriad years, and the second life anterior to the third life by 6,000 myriad years, and the third life more ancient than any Uthra by 6,000 myriad years. And any Uthra is older than the whole earth, and older than the 7 lords of the house by 770,000 myriad years. There is that which is infinite. At that time, there was no solid earth, and no inhabitants in the black waters. In the Sabian religion, God is symbolized by a cross covered in a piece of white silk. The cross represents a plus sign and the 4 corners of the universe, and the cloth symbolizes the light of God. 9 Al-Akal members of the Syrian sect Druze believe that, but instead that all existence is the expression of an absolute deity. They believe that the universe exists due to God's divine nature, Amr, as the will of God creates the divine imperative that creates the universe. Unlike most Abrahamic religions, the Druze believe that human souls transmigrate through reincarnation, with the good having more fortunate incarnations. Heaven and hell are abstract concepts denoting the relative spiritual distance from God, and human beings reincarnate until they are reunited with Al-Akal Al-Kali, cosmic mind. While Muslims believe the Caliph died in 1027, the Druze contend that he vanished and is waiting to reappear and bring about a new golden age. Although Al-Hakim was an incarnation of God in his unity, it is believed that other human beings can manifest as different aspects of God, including the mind, the soul, the word or pure expression of truth, the mental power of the will, and the materialization of will in the material world. Humans who incarnate as these five aspects of God are known as the Shangdi. The Shang dynasty of China recognized the existence of a supreme God, known as Dai, Lord on High, or Shangdi, celestial supreme ruler, who was supreme over all other divine entities and spirits, including those of ancestors. Shangdi also had power over natural disasters and the weather. He was believed to dwell in the heavenly city of Shang with the ancestors of the royal family, and he communicated to human beings through oracle bone divination. When the Zhou dynasty came to power, the worship of Shangdi was slowly replaced or conflated with the worship of Tian, heaven. Zhou writers claimed that the deities of the Shang pantheon had died and returned to Earth as humans to serve in the wars on both sides. Temples to Shangdi survived for a time, but Tian remained the political god. When the Jesuits came to China, they associated the Christian god with Shangdi because he was invisible and not represented in iconography. They claim that God had communicated with the ancient Chinese in the form of Shangdi, but his will was obscured by Confucian and Taoist misinformation and superstition. 7. Shiva. Although the name of this Hindu god is well known, he is known largely as the Lord of Creation and Destruction within the Hindu pantheon. His archetypal form was known as Rudra, represented as a man with horns and an erect phallus who was surrounded by the animals, of which he was the shepherd protector. For followers of the Shaivite branch called the Shiva Siddhanta, however, Shiva is the ultimate godhead, while other gods are mere manifestations. This combined the concept of Shiva as a personal god with the concept of Brahman, the transcendent divinity. Pashu and Pasha exist because of Pati, but all are eternal and cannot be created or destroyed. Shiva is seen as the only deity that can liberate human beings from the impurities of matter and the ego. Vishnu and Brahma, the two other major gods in Hinduism, are seen in this belief system to be subordinate to Shiva and work according to his instructions. Shiva manifests as a personal god through Shakti, who is considered Shiva's wife in traditional Hindu terms, but is seen by followers of Shiva Siddhanta as the of potentiality, desire, and creative spirit. The relationship of Shakti and Shiva is described as akin to the relationship between a beam of sunlight and the sun itself. 6 Hypsistos. According to Greek records, the inhabitants of Asia Minor and the Black Sea region held a widespread belief in a single god known as Hypsistos, Most High, from 400 BC to AD 200. This may have resulted from pagans who were attracted to monotheistic notions, but were unwilling to be restrained by Mosaic law. Others believe that the expression Hypsistos was applied to a variety of different belief structures, both Jewish and pagan. The term was sometimes applied to Zeus or local supreme deities. Records of the worship of Hypsistos north of the Black Sea may have been references to a Bosporan royal cult associated with Sarmatian sky gods and rider gods. In Anatolia, references to Hypsistos may have denoted local monotheism, Henotism, or the influence of Zoroastrianism. In Athens, the worship of Hypsistos may have been derived from, but contained unique elements such as a focus on healing and a large number of female worshippers. Apollo of Claros gave this description of Hypsistos: "He is the Lord of all, self-originated, self-produced, ruling all things in some ineffable way, encompassing the heavens, spreading out the earth, riding on the waves of the sea, soil with air, and earth with fire, of winter, summer, autumn, and spring, causing the changes in their season, leading all things toward the light, and settling their fate in harmonious order." Exposure to Christian ideas in the early modern era led to the development of the Chiandagio religion. In 1860, Josuin claimed to have received a visit from Hinalnum, who taught him that humanity was plagued by a spiritual sickness. Hinalnum is perceived as the great totality that is present within all human beings, who are held to be identical with God. The message of Chiandagio is to treat other people as one would treat God, thereby creating a Chiandagio believers say that this and all humans creates an equality in their fate that is absent from other religions. Yun Suk San describes the Chiandagio conception of God as follows: "This God Hinalnum does not reside in a distant heaven far removed from human beings standing with their feet planted firmly on this earth. Rather, Hinalnum fills both heaven and earth. In other words, this God occupies every part of the universe." Among the Igbo people of West Africa, there is a belief in a supreme creator deity known as Chukwu, Great Kai, with the force or energy to create life. It is believed to be a unity of male and female, the seen and unseen, and the animate and inanimate. The human relationship with Chukwu is said to manifest in Adonani, grand norm, a set of divine laws which are not written, but rather inherent in each individual's Kai, a unique guardian spirit or guiding principle which determines a person's fate according to Adonani. Going against the Adonani will bring about a visit from a known as Ekwensu, who is a servant of Chukwu. On the other hand, Chukwu is also believed to be in a constant act of creation every moment of every day. He is perceived as a perfectly transcendent, noble, and omniscient deity who is perfectly good. Meanwhile, death and evil enter the world through the works of man. Some Igbo thinkers reject the historicity of Chukwu, with one claiming that the concept was the invention of Christian missionaries because the Igbo did not originally believe in a supreme being. However, theologian Christopher Ezekwogo argues that the concept was popularized by the Chukwu clan as a way of manipulating Igbo beliefs to support their slave trading. Still, most Igbo theologians know that were common throughout the Igbo region, and shrines to the god have been found in regions beyond the influence of the Chukwu or the missionaries. She is believed to have been the creator of the universe, chief creative and progenitor and matriarch of all divine and mortal beings in the universe. The Eternal Mother existed before all things and created a man and woman who founded the human race. She sent humanity to live on Earth, but we became lost and confused in our lust for material things. Weeping, she sought to bring her children back to the pure land by sending 2 Buddhas to light the way to salvation. They had ruled over the earth in eons past. These beliefs stated that the Eternal Mother would eventually send a 3rd Buddha to save the rest of humanity and lead them to the of the Mother. Tulak founded in the 19th century in the Indian state of Orissa, Mahima Dharma was a religion that worshipped a deity known as the Mahima Alek, the highest, unwritten, and indescribable deity. Followers see this god as Sunya, void, signifying everything and nothing. Believing that this deity can only be approached through meditation, asceticism, and ritualism, they reject all forms of. In the Orissa Review, Alek of the Mahima Dharma faith has been described as follows: the ultimate reality is one, and the only one. In other words, to withdraw from the many to one and dot. While Mahima Dharma has influence from Hinduism and Buddhism as well as Western religions like Christianity and Islam, it is best understood as a reaction against the social caste supported by traditional Brahmanism. Mukunda Das, the founder of Mahima Dharma, cared for a local god at a shrine in the Kapilas Hills for several years. Afterward, he began to preach that the gods of the Hindus were little more than stone idols, and that the creator of the universe was Alek, a deity without form. Over time, belief in a single deity became popular in Orissa and eventually spread to Andhra, Assam, and Bengal. Another founding figure was Bhima Bhoi, whose writings turned the Mahima Dharma sect into a humanist cult by declaring that even the worst sinner could achieve deliverance through Alek. One hack in Tasi Melek. Many non-Muslim Kurds are members of 3 religious denominations that came from the ancient faith known as Yazdani, cult of angels, Yazidism, Alevism, and Yarsanism. Yazdani also influenced the rise of 19th century Babism and Bahaism. Followers of the Yazdani faiths believe that the material universe was created by Hak, universal spirit, through the manifestation of a supreme avatar, who was recognized as the Lord God by all Yazdani faiths except the Yazidis. Members of the Yazdani faiths profess a belief in 7 angelic beings that protect the universe against 7 evil spirits of matter. The Yazidis place particular importance on the angel called Tasi Melek or Melek Taz, peacock angel. In their faith, Tasi Melek is the Lord and creator of the universe, but not the supreme god. Instead, the Supreme God created Tasi Melek as an emanation in the form of a 7-colored rainbow, with 6 more angels following his emanations in specific colors. Tasi Melek descended upon the barren and volcanic earth in the form of a peacock to fill it with life. He breathed life into Adam and taught him to as a representation of the Supreme God. This caused suffering in the world, which made the peacock angel weep so much that he put out the fires of hell. Redeemed by God, he was elevated to his position to serve as the intermediary between God and humanity, a divine. The Yezidis pray to Melek Tas as an active divine protector within the universe, who can appear in the form of a boy, young man, ray of light, rainbow, snake, or peacock. Although he is the king of the universe, he is said to choose one of the other angels to represent him as